The ranking Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, Congressman Adam Schiff. Congressman Schiff, thank you for joining us this morning. Let's start with North Korea right there. The general saying that North Korea is going to have to get rid of their nuclear weapons or face a military strike. Your response?
My response is I think that we're doing what we need to do, which is tightening the economic noose around North Korea. We're going to need to make sure that China fully complies, because when we lose our focus, China goes back to business as usual. And with each provocation by the North, we have to up the economic pressure and ultimately force them to the table. I think that's the only way of resolving this. And right now, I think at the United Nations, we need to not only make sure that those that have agreed to these sanctions live up to them, but also underscore that we are willing to sit down at the table. We are willing to resolve this diplomatically. We need everyone working together on this, and we can't have the President of the United States calling our allies appeasers. We can't have him acting, frankly, in conflict with his own Secretary of State or Secretary of Defense. This is going to be hard to accomplish, and we all need to be pulling in the same direction. Right now, too often, General McMaster is talking about a president, not that we have, but one that he wishes we had. And instead, we have a president who is taking steps through his pronouncements and his tweets that can be very counterproductive.
It does seem that President Trump may be trying to find a way to stay in the Paris climate change agreement.
Well, I think that would be wonderful. It's very difficult to tell day to day what the administration intends with climate, with the Dreamers, and any host of other issues. But look, we should invite the administration, encourage the administration to reconsider. I think it was probably the single biggest relinquishment of American leadership when the president basically said, we're walking off the world stage on climate. If they can be enticed back, I think that's very positive. I don't know why it is so hard for this administration, whether it's on climate or on Iran or on our strategy of defeating ISIS, to acknowledge that the prior administration did some things right. I'm struck in listening to General McMaster right now, George, about how much that secret strategy that the president had of defeating ISIS that we were going to hear about in 30 days turns out to be the Obama administration's strategy, and there's nothing wrong with that. We can certainly make improvements on what the last administration did, but they did lay some important building blocks. And I think that it's going to be very difficult for this administration in dealing with North Korea to say that we're going to renege on the nuclear deal with Iran, because those issues are also interconnected.
Your committee, of course, is looking at Russian interference in our election. We learned this week that Facebook has turned over evidence to Special Counsel Robert Mueller that entities connected to Russia bought at least $150,000 in targeted ads during last year's presidential campaign, information they have not turned over to your committee. What do you make of this, and will you be requesting the same information?
We are requesting a lot more information from Facebook, and we have received some information, but there are a lot of unanswered questions. I don't think that Facebook is reluctant to provide information to us because they think it would conflict with special counsel. I don't think it would conflict at all. There are issues about what legal process we need to use to get this information from Facebook. But frankly, I'm distressed that it has taken us this long to be informed that the Russians had paid for at least $100,000 of ads designed to try to influence our electoral process. And when you look at the content of those ads, it really underscores what the intelligence community said earlier, and that is that the Russians were really aiming to divide us, to sow discord, to effectively set one American against another on some of the most divisive issues that we have. All Americans, all patriotic Americans of both parties ought to be outraged by that. And we need to know the full extent of their use of social media to influence us. From Facebook, from Twitter, from Google, from any social media or search engine, they need to be fully forthcoming. And I'm confident they will. I think, frankly, they need to come and testify before Congress, because there's a lot we need to know about this.
Real tweet storm from the president this morning, including a retweet which showed, I want to put it up on the screen right now, which showed President Trump swinging a golf ball, whacking it right into the back of Hillary Clinton. She goes down right there. Kind of surprising that maybe it's not surprising, but kind of an alarming tweet right there. Does it make you question how real this outreach to Democrats was this week?
Well, it doesn't make me question that, because I think all of us recognize that outreach for what it is, and that's purely transactional, purely something that will come up from time to time when the president decides it's in his personal interest to work with Democrats. This is a president, look, who has no ideology. He's not conservative. He's not liberal. the only consistent theme seems to be he's pro-Trump. He's for his own personal interests. Sometimes those interests will align, and we shouldn't cut off our nose to spite our face. Where they do align, where it makes sense for the American people, we should take advantage of that transactional opportunity. It is distressing, though, to have a president that, frankly, will tweet and retweet things as juvenile as that. It doesn't help, I think, in terms of his stature. It doesn't help in terms of the stature of our whole country. So that's a wholly separate issue, but where the president decides it's in his personal interest to work with us, we stand ready to make progress on behalf of the American people.
Congressman Schiff, thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks, George.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.